A Tale of Glavlit and Samizdat by P.M.L. First published in the journal Proof of Concept or Get a Fact Out, Volume 0x21. I just want to say that I realized halfway through recording this that I mispronounced Glavlit as Gavlit for some reason. I just want to point it out before you start listening. Gather round, neighbours. We've all heard the tale of Samizdat, and of course these pages are Samizdat. But now it's time for a darker tale, that of Glavlit, Samizdat's opposite, nemesis, and chief reason of existence. As many things in the history of humanity, it was thought to be a thing of the past, and yet it rises again. Glavlit started as a part of the Commissariat of Enlightenment to prevent printing of things, religious, anti-science, anti-communist, pornographic, liable to stoke hate or spread rumours, and otherwise misleading, or contrary to the Enlightenment as the commissars saw it. Glavlit also changed with the removal of previously printed harmful materials from libraries, bookstores, and other places they could be found. It grew and grew until it came to report directly to the party's central committee, and its purview included any posters, notepad, and theatre tickets. Nothing could be printed without its approval, and nothing printed could persist without its approval. This sounds Orwellian, and it sure was, but that is not the point today. The point is that despite employing an army of well-educated human senses, Glavlit was incredibly dumb. Anyone whose occupation involved printed works knew it. No matter how loyal to Soviet ideology they were, Glavlit would reject the most loyally written books because it creatively imagined some illusion critical of the Soviet system, but then pass things it should have obviously caught, and then confer them to the special quality of suppressed truth by chasing them down. In short, Glavlit was a disaster. It was a disaster that begat Samizdat. It actually turns out a lot of people who were made to learn to read actually want to read, and they want to read stuff that interests them. Scaring them away from reading unapproved things works to a point, until the difference between what's approved and what's not stops making sense. At that point, folks don't care whether their words make sense beyond their own career advancements take over the printed word. With Glavlit's blessing, the folks who actually cared about the actual subject matter, the fools, the nerds, and those obsessed with their profession, try and try again, and then reinvent Samizdat. The official print becomes synonymous with hypocrisy. It really didn't matter then if the official press had any redeeming value or not. In the end, Soviet society became almost entirely rumor-driven and cultish, despite science being its official highest value. Worse, it erupted in ethnic cleansing wars as soon as it could, despite decades of peace and friendship between peoples. Lessons dominating school curricula, the news, the TV, and any other mass medium. Glavlit absolutely succeeded in its mission of control, and totally failed at every good thing it was meant to achieve. It even failed at pushing the party line, because the press it shaped was so stupid and boring it wasn't even good for propaganda, let alone persuasion. These days there seems to be quite a few folks trying to reinvent Glavlit with technology. Wouldn't it be nice if computers could tell what's harmful and block it before it could do any harm, or at least unprint it afterwards? Lately it's been looking like Web 2.0, is having a giant Glavlit cosplay party. Even nerdy news some days looks like it's been a record-smashing new manga about Glavlit Senpai, who is part AI and part superhero. It might behoove us all to remember how the actual continent scale 100% expert human baseline effort turned out. As they say, play Soviet games, win Soviet prizes. There is an old Soviet joke about a bicycle factory worker who wanted a bicycle but couldn't afford one. So he started sneaking out parts one at a time to assemble them at home. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get a bicycle, but a machine gun. Well, Glavlit was that kind of a factory. It couldn't produce enlightenment, no matter how hard it tried. For what it's worth, here is a prediction. There is no such thing as a smart Glavlit. The larger it gets, the dumber it will be. So we might as well work to build a better Samizdat, neighbors. For it was the past, and it will be the future. Amen.